You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday. Oh, yeah. You knew it was coming, right? 4th day of March, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. I do hope you had a great weekend. The weather here in Phoenix, absolute paradise. We get that, actually, a few months out of the year. And then it goes back to 110. So hopefully it's pleasant wherever you are. So, this is our second live broadcast of the trading day. We do two every trading day. First one is private. It's for members only and those taking their 1-week free trial. This broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Now, to take the free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. And at the very top of the page, it says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click the link, and then carefully fill out the registration form so that we actually get it. It's an automated process. And we'll do our very best to get your desktop set up, your indicators indicating same day, and then the following day your trial officially starts. Doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend that you sign up for the trial, you'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. Now, it's not just the live training room you have access to. You have access to all the resources that our members have access to. In Telegram, the discussion group, the weekly zones, the logic alerts, one-on-one mentoring, the CTAs, everything except the members-only workshop on Thursday night. Now, each day when the live training room ends, we take a 30-minute break and then come back at 12 noon Eastern for this broadcast. Now, the best way to join this broadcast live, go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page to where you see afternoon broadcast. Click the link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. That email has a link in it. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. The benefit of doing it that way gives you access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there will be days, obviously, when you're busy, out of the office, away from the desktop. You can still join the afternoon broadcast live, even if you're away from the desktop. And if you're too busy to join live, but want to catch up later, you can do that too. Of course, I'm referring to our YouTube channel. youtube.com/CFRN CFRN. Pretty simple to remember because you already know YouTube.com, so all you have to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,400 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but really how we've evolved over the years. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 3 years, even more. Just pick some days at random. Doesn't matter. Listen in a little bit, fast forward a little bit, listen in some more, jump to another day. You'll get to know who we really are. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. Each day we start out with our daily devotional and a word of prayer. Then we'll get into the markets, alerts, and about 12:45, 12:50, Michael will join us. He'll give us a recap of what happened today in the live training room. And then at the top of the hour, 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll go live on the TradingView platform and do some live trading for a half hour and wrap things up with our good word for the day. One more time, youtube.com/CFRN. Now we finished up our topic that we were on last week and part of the previous week, which was The Chosen Season 3. Just kind of walked through that whole thing. Today, we're going to start a new topic. Giving it all away and getting it all back again. Our scripture is Matthew 16, verses 24 through 26. And I'll share with you from the Message translation. Then Jesus went to work on his disciples. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. You're not in the driver's seat. I am. Don't run from suffering. Embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way, my way, to finding yourself, your true self. What kind of deal is it to get everything you want, but lose yourself? What could you ever trade your soul for? Questions are different at various stages of our life. In our 20s, we tend to ask things like, who will I marry? What will my career be? In our 30s, we start to ask, how can I be established in my career and how will my kids turn out? By the 40s, we start to ask, is this the job I really wanted? And why is life so hard? In our 50s, we start to look both backward and forward. How has it turned out so far? And what will I do that's significant in the next 25 years? By our 60s, we ask simpler questions like, will my health hold out? And when will I see my grandchildren? By our 70s, we really start to look back and ask, was it all worth it? Or will anyone even remember? At age 80, quite likely, our possessions shine less brightly. On the other hand, the things that gave us great joy are the intangibles. A phone call from a friend, the touch of your spouse's hand, a quiet walk observing God's creation, the presence of your children, the laughter of your grandchildren. The funny thing about the questions of life is that the ones we ask at the end are the ones we should begin with. It is tough to craft a meaningful life without considering our end. What do we hope for? What do we dream for as it relates to our lives, our family, our children, our business? I hope that some of the questions that we put off about our mortality, about our sense of meaning and success, we can begin to address right now. And that we'll find we're not talking about endings, but about enduring legacies. So, something to think about. What does success look like to you? Will success look different when you're at the end of your life? Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, touched by those words, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross. Often easier said than done. Lord, these words challenge us to examine our priorities and our commitment to following you. Help us to understand that true discipleship requires sacrifice and self-denial. Give us the strength and courage to take up our cross daily and follow you wholeheartedly. Forgive us, Lord, for the times when we have prioritized worldly gain over our relationship with you. Teach us to seek first your kingdom and your righteousness, trusting that you will provide for all our needs. Help us to let go of the things of this world that hold us back from fully embracing your call on our lives. Give us a heart of generosity and compassion, that we may use our resources and talents to serve others and advance your kingdom. And Lord, may we never lose sight of the true value of our souls. May we live our lives in such a way that we honor you and bring glory to your name. And may we find our ultimate satisfaction and fulfillment in knowing you and being known by you. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. Happy Monday. That's like an oxymoron, right? Happy Monday. Well, hopefully it is a happy Monday for you. wherever you are. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Now, we know we've had some real flat sideways weeks. When the weekly trading zones came out this morning, you might have noticed that 13 of the zones are the same this week as they were last week. 13. Now, we've got some big news events this week, which should speak volatility. Having so many zones the same tells me it might perhaps be some contained volatility. We've seen some pretty flat sideways trade in the indices today. Some of the other markets are a little better. But let me go ahead and just give you the numbers. The Dow is down 83 points. NASDAQ is down 26. S&P 500 is basically unchanged on the session. And the Russell 2000 are man in the street, up 10 points, which is roughly half of 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil dropped 93 cents, trading 79.04 last. That's a drop of over 1%. Gold gaining $27.70, trading 21.2340 last. That's a gain of over 1.25%. Silver up 60 cents, trading 23.97 last. That's a gain of over 2.5%, or over $2,500 per contract traded. We talked a little bit last week about silver, how I've been predicting its day in the sun, returning to its all-time high for a third time for a couple of years. So I've always been a little bit ahead of myself in many areas, apparently in this one. Remember, it only takes 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. Margins do tend to be a little high. There is a lot of volatility, so it may not be the best market to start out with, but once you learn how to trade, then it's something you may want to consider. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei gained 198 points. Shanghai gained 12. The Hang Seng rose 6.5. No movers, no shakers. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 42, the DAX down 18, the CAC up 22. Again, no movers, no shakers. So we had a green day in Asia. It was a mixed day in the UK. And it's definitely a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. Got the Dow and the NQ in the red. S&P is now positive by almost 1 point. Oh, 3/4 of 1 point. And the Russell 2000 still in the green, but it's dropped a few pennies. When trading futures, we like to see the 4 major indices all the same color. Doesn't matter if they're all red or all green, because with futures, you can be long, short, and long again all in the same hour if that's what the chart in front of you tells you to do. But when the markets are mixed, it's like a game of tug-of-war. And you don't get follow-through, you don't get nice legs, with a beautiful retracement back to the BBC and then another big leg. You just kind of roll sideways. And those are not the best conditions for trading. Now, you've either decided to learn how to trade, or you feel as though you have learned how to trade. That's great. Either way, always be aware of market conditions, okay? The days when the market's really flowing and presenting opportunities, you'll want to be there. But on the days when the markets that you trade are not providing you with the type of opportunities they typically provide you, and it's important, and when you become a trader, it's important to learn to step up. But when you have unfavorable trading conditions, it's equally or more important to learn when to step down and just wait for this to pass. What will it take to arouse these markets from the slumber they've been in practically since the beginning of the year? You go, wait a minute, they're not slumbering, it's all-time historic highs. Yeah, that's true. Yes, NQ. New highs on Friday. But it's the way it's happening intraday and overnight, which is another beautiful thing about futures, especially for those who have day jobs and want to become traders. Futures is a great market because it trades around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. So, let's take a look. Just how brutal it really is. Okay, this recap, we're in week 292. Over the last 292 weeks, we've issued over 16,100 individual handcrafted alerts. We've averaged 20% or less on a weekly basis being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, if you come from the world of equities, you're a stock trader, you're accustomed to your week beginning Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. But for those who trade futures, we know that the Globex market opens Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 13 alerts. Now, Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. So this is where everything stood at that time. She will, of course, update the recap this afternoon and this evening as appropriate. 12 waiting. Sounds like a whole lot of nothing going on, huh? Now, some of these I'm sure have resolved themselves by this point. So you'll see the reflection in the updated recap this afternoon. So that gave us one actionable alert. Nothing stopped out. That's the start of the week. Last week, we ended up with 15% of actionable alerts stopped out. And we issued a total of, I think it was, hang on, I'll check. This was last week's thin week. Week 291, we had a total of 33 alerts, 6 never triggered, 27 actionable, of which 4 or 15% would have been stopped out. Again, based on market structure and a very simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, the logic alerts are based on current price action. They can come out anytime, day or night. 2 a.m., 2 p.m., because futures trade around the clock. Basically, it's whenever opportunity presents itself. Long before we had Logic 247, which again, we're in week 292. Long before Logic 247 was even a gleam in my eye, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. And they're a little bit different. Now, the logic alerts, they have an entry price, they have an initial target that's designed simply to help you get your goal for the day as you're learning how to trade. And then there'll often be a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth target, and then a final trade to target. If it's a short alert, the final trade to target will always be the weekly trading zone below. If it's a long alert, the final trade to target will always be the weekly trading zone above. Now, all alerts issued Sunday night are based on last week's weekly trading zones. The new weekly trading zones come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've published the zones since December 14th, 2009. Yes, I did say 2009, and you're like, but it's 2024. One of the most important things in life you can do is show up, and number two, be consistent. So we have delivered every Monday, except when Monday's a holiday, then they come out Tuesday morning. So when we look at my charts today, you're going to see last week's zones, because that's what our traders use on Sunday night. However, at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, they get the new zones on their charts before Wall Street even wakes up for the week. Now the CTAs, they don't come out around the clock. They're posted or published as a static report shortly after the Globex open. Last night, the new week started at 6 p.m. Eastern, as it does every Sunday night. 10 minutes after the open, these targets were published for our members and our trial members. Remember, when you're on the trial, you have access to everything that our passport holders have access to, with the exception of the Thursday night members only workshop. First thing you do when this report is published is go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you actually trade. Make a note of where price is at this time on your 30-minute chart. It'll always be between these two numbers. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target. Draw a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, then you know it's trying to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, then it's attempting to reach the short target. When we go to the charts, the green line that you see on my charts, daily, on the 30-minute, the green line is the BBC. Just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. When price gets below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. Whether it's a daily chart, 30-minute chart, 5-minute chart, a tick chart, or range chart. Doesn't matter what market, it can be an individual stock, crypto, Forex, ETF. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. That's one of the most important lessons you need to learn up front right away. Because people are going to tell you that, well, you can't trade gold the same way you trade the ES because they've got different personalities. I'm sure they do, but we're not looking for a relationship. We're simply looking for a high probability, low risk trade opportunity. So in that vein, everything's the same. And price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, and it's called the BBC, Bull Bear Cross. You'll see it in a second. Now, on those logic alerts, I look left for you to spot potential obstacles to the trade. That's why there are multiple targets, because I go and find the previous swing highs and the previous swing lows, and I list them. The purpose of the alerts is to teach you how to become self-sufficient. If you want to trade for a living, it's not going to happen as long as you're waiting on somebody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. You need to learn to be able to look at a chart and know, based upon how price flows and how markets work, what the next high probability move is. Now, on the logic alerts, I said there's over 16,100 individual handcrafted alerts. That's my best work, okay? But even still, 20% of the time, the market did something other than the next high probability thing. Or it drew down one tick more than what's in that process we teach in the one-on-one mentoring sessions to all of our passport holders. So if you're striving for perfection, if you're looking for something where you'll never get stopped out again, you'll spend all of your life looking. Such a thing not only doesn't exist, it can't exist based on the laws of physics, science, and even God. Now, with the CTAs, I'm giving you a long and short target, which means as you grow from the logic alerts to the CTAs to flying on your own, okay, you'll learn to look left yourself and spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs and swing lows, which can become current resistance or support. And you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That's important because from the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. If price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone above. Price is below the 30-minute BBC. It's trying to reach the zone below. It's pretty simple. As I said earlier, we've published the zone since December 14th of 2009. And the most amazing thing about the zones is nothing's changed. Not a single thing. Over all those years. Now, on Monday, you'll often see the market respecting previous week zones as well as current zones. Typically by Tuesday, the new zones have fully taken over. So on Monday morning, when you put the new zones on your chart, some people color code the previous week zones, keep them on their chart. Some people just print out from Telegram the thing Joseph does for us, where you can easily see what the previous week zones are without having to have them on your chart. I like to have a chart that's as uncluttered as possible. We've all seen those charts where there's so many indicators and oscillators, you can't even find price. And Michael and I were there one day, many days ago, 2005, early 2006. We had every indicator and oscillator on planet Earth. When we ran out of stuff to buy, we started rolling our own. But thank God we finally saw the light that more isn't always a good thing. We actually found out that less can be a great thing. And, you know, when you've become accustomed to using something, whether it's made you money or not, it's sometimes hard to let go of. That's what we did. We drilled down to what was really important, and we just stuck with that. Trading's not easy, but it can be simple if you don't complicate it. Otherwise, just resist the urge to make it complicated. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple. Reach your goal for the day. All right, let's start out with our daily chart, where we always start out. New all-time historic high on Friday. That's 2 Fridays back to back. This Friday here, February 23rd, gave us a new all-time historic high. And this past Friday, March 1st, 51.49 and a quarter. Today's high is 47 and a quarter. So at the moment, we have an inside day. An inside day simply means we've not taken out previous day's high or the previous day's low. Now we're only 2 points away from reaching it. We have traveled above the 62% fib retracement. Here's the 100. Now my fib extensions are based off this entire move up that began back here on October 27th. I'm waiting for price to break the BBC, but I'll probably go ahead, and Stefan's already done this, I think. I'll run my fib extensions from this swing low to this swing high to this swing low. Now these long lines you see across the page, those are fib retracements. Over here are the extensions. Retracements tell you where the market is most likely to find support on its way down. And the extensions show you where price is likely to find resistance on the way up. As you can see, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, the market found resistance at the 62. Okay, and then when we had a new high here, where we find resistance at the 50. Finally broke through the 50, made it to the 62. Now price is looking to get all the way up to 53.76. In a world gone mad. Why are we looking at a daily chart? Institutional traders move price. Has to do with their account size. When they trade in the size they trade in, that moves price. So no matter what you trade, maybe a different type of futures, maybe individual stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. If you'll learn to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you begin your trading session, it will often give you great insight as to what the institutional traders are up to. Now they're slightly bullish today, but nothing like they were on Friday, at least not yet. Now, if we take out Friday's high by just a little bit and quickly retrace, know that at the 62, there's potential support. Step line in blue and climbing's potential support. The low of February 29th is potential support. The daily BBC is right at the 50% fib extension. Institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Again, it simply has to do with account size. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. The vertical line separates today, Monday, from Friday, Thursday, and if we keep scrolling back, you can see all of last week. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. Price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, over and over, again and again. Like I said, since 2009, nothing's changed. This was the opening candle last night. We had a slight gap higher open. And the gap finally closed. Looks like right about here. Now, that's about as flat as an ironing board. We did dip below the BBC just a little bit. There was enough there to get your goal for the day. And we got above the BBC. And we made a run, but we've not been able to take out Friday's high, as I just mentioned on the daily chart. So that's important. Okay. Where's price trying to go? Well, we're above the BBC, so we anticipate higher prices. Red and falling has turned to blue and climbing. That's bullish. Yet we're printing a red candle. So you have to be patient and let this thing work itself out. This is what's called a bullish cross. See how the blue line crossed above the green line? We're in the infant stage of that happening right here. I would not go long until Friday's high, which came in at 49.25. You know, you want to at least let it get up to 52, 53, and you could have a nice 5-point trade up to the long target. But you also have to understand that price could just come back to the BBC and do this flat line. Okay, nothing to get excited about here. So we'll move along. Now on the Dow, we had a little bit more movement. This was the opening candle last night, and that gap closed right here. We got to the zone and we consolidated. Only 3 things happen in a zone. 70% of the time it's this, consolidation. Now I only put one line of the zone in. The zone is actually 390.70/75. Okay. And on the ES, it would have been 51.31/32. So there's 2 numbers that creates what we call the zone. But a long time ago, I started just because, again, I like an uncluttered chart. I instinctively know that with the Dow, there's another zone here, or completes the zone, 38.920/25. Now, again, these are last week's zones because these alerts went out last night. And so all our members had to work with were last week's zones. Any alert that goes out today and the rest of the week, of course, will be based on this week's zones. Once the zones are published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Price gets below the BBC, consolidates 70% of the time. 20% of the time, price gets rejected. 10% of the time, we have what's called the slice. And I'll go over that at some point. So as price dropped to our short target, goal for the day, and the market found support. Why? Why did the market bounce right there? Your answer is right here. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support. And it was. Sent price back up to red and falling. And then we continued falling all the way down to the zone, last week's zone, at 38,920/25. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance, which it found at the zone to the tick. When the market finds resistance, it's going to go look for support, which it found as it pulled back to the BBC. Now, we spiked the BBC, but we never let go of it. See, each candle is still touching. On this attempt, we managed to overcome that zone, okay? But we've got a bearish cross right here. We've spiked the bearish cross, but we're starting to turn a red candle. Get the idea? You've got potential resistance here, 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 then here, your long target, okay? This bearish cross doing what it does, just like the bullish cross does what it does. On the Russell. Russell was on fire last week. Gap higher opening last night, pulled back, never closed the gap completely. But we never got below the BBC, so we were never looking at the short target. Here we go with the perfect stack, price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. Takes us right up to target and the zone. Overshot the zone, pull back to the BBC, the pullback held. Now it looks like price is going to come back, challenge the BBC, and if it does, let it get below this swing low, right here about 2077, down to 2075. Go for the day. Okay, Michael's here to give us a recap of the live training room, and then we'll go live on TradingView for 30 minutes. When we're done with that, I will complete the recap and wrap things up with our good word for the day.
Excellent. Here we go.
Okay, looks good.
Thanks. All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 4th day of March 2024. All the way into March. Tomorrow is Super Tuesday.
Ooh.
Supreme Court ruled 9-0. All right. Anyway, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. When you click on that, you're going to be brought to this registration page to sign up for the free trial. In here, just give your name, your email, your phone number, and down here at the bottom, give us a TradingView login ID if you want to. All right. If you give us that, we'll be able to enable your indicator set as soon as possible. Before you take the trial, before you actually get everything set up, or while you get everything set up. Anyway, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. This spreadsheet goes back over 10 years now, 10 years of daily activity in our spreadsheet. So today, the 4th day of March 2024, we made 8 ticks on the NQ3 on the Russell, 5 on gold. We didn't trade the ES at all. We didn't trade crude oil at all. Today it took 12 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,500, and we took a total of 16 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $1,145 over 2 business days, averaging $572 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're now at $16,552. That's over 43 business days, averaging $384 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, we have this thing called the 24/20 blueprint, where you start with 1 contract and you work your way up to 20 contracts. By adding 1 contract a month. To add 1 contract a month, you have to earn your way up to it. You have to earn $2,000 per contract per month. So we started that in January of 2023, and right now we are at our 15th contract. We're in our 15th month, so we're in our 15th contract now. If you did it this year, starting this year, if you started with 1 contract, or if you were going with me and you're up to 15 now, but if you started with just 1 contract, the same amount of time is going to elapse. It took 17.76 hours so far this year to get our goal for the day, all year, every business day, 43 out of 43 business days so far, 17.76 hours. So I guess if we do the math, let's just see this. We 17.76 hours, 14.76 times 60 equals that, divided by 43 equals that. So we're averaging about 24.7 minutes a day to get our goal. And per hour on the year, we're averaging $4,790 per hour. That is quitting when we get the goal for the day. Okay, quitting when we get the goal for the day. That's where you want to be, consistently profitable. Quitting when we get the goal. This month, we have to get up to $30,000 quitting when we get the goal for the day to be able to go to another contract next month. Now, we have a long month this month. We don't have any holidays this month, I don't think. So I think we had probably 22 days, 22 business days in a month. 5, 10, 15, 20, 21 business days in a month. Okay, so we have 21 business days in a month. So we should have a good month this month. All right. Let me get into the actual trades. All right, on the gold, we had a few trades on the gold. We did have one stop out, and we had 2 profitable trades on the gold. It started out here. This is where we got the gold for the day on our very first trade right here. Actually, it says we got it at 9:30. I thought we got it at 9:32. But anyway, right here we got 10 ticks profit on that very first trade. You see there was some nice blue arrows in here that we didn't get. Actually, that one would have stopped you out. This was a good one, but it went right up into the zone. Either way, the next one that I did was right over here, and we picked up 5 more ticks on that, and then I took this one right here, and it stopped me out. So I was minus 10 ticks on that one. Went from 15 to 5 there. Okay. All right. So the next thing, this was right in the middle of the weekly trading zone, so we couldn't take anything with that. Okay. And the next trade that we had was right in here. Okay, and the next, well, we'll go to the next markets. The next market was here on, why is this on the NQ? This should be the Russell. This should be the Russell, RTY. The next market that we traded was the Russell right here. So let's get into that. Let's also shut this down for right now. And we'll come in here and look at the Russell and see what trades we had there today. Because we did have some. Not very many. Okay, so here we are at the beginning of the day, beginning of the session. Now we missed this first one right here. We were in a no trade zone here to start out with, and we were also on the ES. Okay, we're also in a no trade zone at the beginning on the ES. Most of the day on the ES. We missed this first blue arrow here. We missed that green arrow. We missed that blue arrow. We missed everything until we took this black arrow way over here, and I just got 3 ticks profit on that black arrow. I only took one more trade on the Russell right over here, and I got a break even on that one. This blue arrow would have given you some profit. This blue arrow would have given you some profit. This blue arrow would have been a stop out. This blue arrow would have given you some profit, but I wouldn't have traded probably any of that because of the weekly trading zone. It's all over that weekly trading zone. So that was Russell. We ended up with just plus 3 ticks. The ES we didn't trade at all. And you see, the ES never even had a target table in here. All day. It's been in no trade zone all day. Look at that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that is pretty much it right there. I'm not sure. I think I'll get back to that. I don't think the person that just texted me from Sweden is in the audience. I don't think. No. Okay, so I'll get back to that. In here, we're completely flat. All right, if you go in here and you change it to like a 15 range where you're going to have some blue arrows, then you'll have a table. If you don't have any blue arrows, you're not going to have a table. All right, you're not going to have any targets in your table. If you go back to a 7 range, you can see that right here. You see how the black dot is right there? That's an empty target table. It's empty because it's all flat. You don't have any blue arrows. There's no reason to enter any trades, so you don't have any targets. Okay, and that was the ES, the whole ES right there in a nutshell today. The NQ, again, where we had most of our trades today, we were battling with the 100 tick mark today. on the NQ. We got above it, we got below it, we got above it, we got below it, and below it. So let's go all the way back here. Now, when we got that, when we had that profit on when we got the gold for the day, on the gold, right after that, we had this trade right here. We've got 36 profit on the NQ. That was followed by another one right here. We've got 1 tick profit on the NQ. Then we had a break even, and another break even, and then over here we had another 30. That put us at 61. 61. I'm sorry, that other one, it wasn't 1 tick. It was 4 ticks. Right here, we had 4 ticks there. Then we had 30 there that goes to 64. Then another 30 here got us to 94. Then we stopped out, went down to 74. Then we had a break even, and another 30 there got us to 104. Then we stopped out again, went back down to 84. And then we had a break even there. And I guess that's where we ended it, isn't it? I started the lesson plan, and it doesn't look like I traded again in here. I don't think I did. Okay, well, during the break, let's see. That was right before the break. I remember saying right before the break that we had a gold and an NQ trade triggering at the same time. I didn't like either one. I didn't take either one right before the break. But during the break, there was one nice blue arrow trade right here. And the triggers, I mean, the targets that one gave up were really close to begin with. This one right here was the first target it gave up. And then a few more after that. I didn't get to all of them yet, but that was all that the NQ had this morning. Okay. Let me go over here before I go too far and make sure I have that ready to go. I do. Okay, so I'm just going to start the live stream right now. And that was it for the NQ this morning. All right, we finished with plus 84 ticks on the NQ. All right, so on the morning, let's just hit the spreadsheet one more time. Again, the spreadsheet, if you're going to read it, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. The spreadsheet goes back over 10 years of our daily results. All right, we finished last month. With $5,670 per contract. The month before, we finished with $9,587 per contract. This month, it's starting off pretty good. We're at, right now, on the month, we're at $1,145 a contract. That's over 2 business days, averaging $572 per contract for 2-hour business day. On the year now, we're at $16,552 over 43 business days, averaging $384 per contract per morning session. This here is our 24/20 blueprint. We want you to be consistently profitable and quit trading when you get your goal for the day. Establish a goal that you'll be happy with, you're able to live with, get it, and quit trading. All right, we started this year with 13 contracts. 24/20 blueprint started last year with 1, and we worked our way up with 1 contract from the beginning of the year last year, right here with 1 contract, adding 1 contract a month all year. To this year, we are now started with 13. We did 14 last month. Last month we had to make, with 14 contracts, we had to make $28,000 quitting when we got the goal for the day. This month we have to make $30,000 quitting when we get the goal for the day. And I don't expect that's going to be an issue. All right. So far this year, we've worked 17.35 hours getting the goal for the day, and we've averaged $4,689 per hour. Right. Actually, this is even more than that. We worked 17.76 hours. That one wasn't completely updated up here. We've worked 17.76 hours, and we've averaged $4,790 per hour getting the goal for the day. Right. So you can do it too, right? All right, trading. Now we had a lot going on in here this morning. Well, the markets were really flat in some cases, like the ES didn't give us a single trade all morning. The gold, we had a couple of trades on the gold. I haven't looked at the crude oil yet today, but we did have a couple of trades on the gold. The Russell, we also had some decent trades on the Russell, but you see everything is going sideways. Now, we had, let me go up here and see in here. I wanted to go to Forex Factory here. Forexfactory.com. Here we go. All right. So today we didn't have much for news, but we do have a lot of news the rest of the week. Okay. You see tomorrow we have ISM services, PMI, high impact. We have final services coming in at 9:45, then high impact at 10. And then Wednesday, high impact news coming in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have high impact news the rest of the week. Okay, so there should be some action the rest of the week. Today was kind of a slow day, but I think we'll see it pick up the rest of the week. We had in Bitcoin is also running. I haven't looked at my stuff since. Did we already hit it?
I believe so.
Good.
No, maybe not. Maybe not all time.
69.
69 is all time.
Yeah, 69. So if we jump over here. Oops, I was showing stuff about the SPY this morning. Okay, well, I'll jump to Bitcoin in a minute. Well, let's just look at it. So my projection on the SPY by the end of the week, 521. That's my projection on the SPY by the end of the week. Okay. I think it's going to be a bullish week. All right. You can't do this on that time frame. We'll do it on the 30-minute. And nope, not quite yet. 67.6. 67.6 is what it is. So if we had we have a blue arrow there, but it doesn't have anything to the left. That's why it's not filling up. It's not filling it up. If we put it on a daily, I think it'll find something. Right, one day it should find that 69,000. There it is, right there. Right, but it's going from the blue arrow way down here. Oops, I don't know what just happened there, but that was kind of weird. All right, well, we'll get back to that. Well, all my charts just went away. Well, that's going to make it hard to trade, isn't it? We'll see if we can get them all back.
I can still see them on my end.
Yeah, well, they were there. They just all went blank all at once.
Yeah, it did on the stream, but in GoTo, it didn't. So whatever.
Okay. Well, here we go. You can see that it printed this last one way up here at 69,000. That's the last target right here for Bitcoin in our target box. So I would think, I was saying earlier that I think we're going to hit it this week. We could hit it today. I didn't think it was going to go as much as it did over the weekend, but I'm glad that it did. Let's just see what's going on in here. And everything else that I got going on is really running too. Yeah, let's just look in here. Another one's up 32% right now. All right, so we have some really good indications here, and it's exceeded all the targets that we put in there. It hasn't had any pullbacks yet, but when it does have a pullback, when it finally does have a pullback, we'll give you an idea where that should be. It's looking like it's going to be over here now. Right, this is where I was thinking it was going to be. And if you go from the whole move from here to here, or even from here to here, then that's still a pretty good spot right now. But we'll see how much it keeps going up here. You know, the irrational exuberance. We'll see where that ends, if that ends. But anyway, let's minimize this and push this over here and that down there like that. There we go. All right, so as far as trading the other stuff right now goes, we had a black arrow right here. Now, did we have a direction change? On the ES, we didn't really have any direction, so I'm not gonna do anything with ES today, I don't think. I'm just gonna let it get out of that funk that it's in. These other ones are just going sideways too, so we really don't have anything going on here. Not right at the moment. Am I on mute? No, I am not. You read?
I just gave him instructions on how to fix it.
Yes, good. Click the speaker icon. Let's see, this was the look at this on a 30-minute today. It was going, that was a few days ago, it gave a long, but in here it gave a long. I was looking actually on this on the SPY. SPY, because we're looking at the SPY for options this week, right? Because I think the SPY is going to get up to 520. I think it's where it's going to get up to over the next week. We'll see if it does, but I think that's about where it's going to go. $8 over the next week. And if we were to look at this on, I think it was a daily, right? On the 15 range. I didn't mean that. On a daily. It had, hang on. Is this daily? Yeah, I guess it is. Here. It had given a long trade way back here in November, and it's been long ever since. Yeah, we're looking at all kinds of different scenarios this morning. I think this Bitcoin one is going to have, it's going to finish a nice move up there, I think. It'd be good if it did it today. I don't know where it's going to go after that, though. From 69,000. Yeesh. 69,000. And the sky's the limit, really, right? Oh, we have ETFs. There's a lot of money pouring in.
Just run your fib extensions. That'll give you some kind of an idea.
Fib extensions. Okay. On a daily chart, you think?
Yeah. I would key off that low kind of in the middle of your screen. Yeah, about right there. And then I would take it up to that. Yep. And then take it up to that O you drew in, the high of that candle.
This one up here.
Yep. And then connect it to the retracement low.
Okay. Let me see if I can draw this properly. I don't know how to draw these things.
I haven't used the extension tool in TradingView myself, so I can't help you.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure how to do it. It does something different too. Anchored projection. I think this is it, right? The projection one. Is that it?
Should say fib extension, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
go up by fib retracements. See if it's just right under that.
Oh yeah, here it is. Resistance.
Trend-based fib extension.
There it is.
So you connect that low
to that high.
And you got to connect it to that retracement low.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah,
I'll let you do it.
We'll play around with it. Yeah, but for anybody that wants to know what to expect, that's the tool you would use. Unfortunately, I can't show it on DT Pro because DT Pro doesn't do BTC. I can show you with futures, but that's a whole nother ballgame. Back to you.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I'll figure out how to use that tool on TradingView. But anyway, it's when it does pull back, it's got now the midpoint of just this leg on the pullback is going to be like right up here somewhere, right in the middle of this channel that we drew. But this channel is no longer meaningful. This end would go up like that, right? So it's right up at the top of that edge right now. And depending on what happens here, you know, at the end of the day today, we can draw from here now up like that. So our channel is going to be completely different. But it's all good stuff. Good stuff. If we look in here and see what this said about Bitcoin, let's just look here.
Can you let Bart know that you see his message?
I don't have my messages up, but I will let Bart know that I see his message. Hang on. Let me get the question.
I explained you were tied up at the moment, but
yes. Okay. Did I get your email yesterday, Sam? I think we got the email. Yes, Bart, I see your message, and we can do that. I already have a bunch of them today, and I have a bunch of other stuff that I want to get done today too. So maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow we can schedule something, okay?
Now, the rumor mill is the reason we're seeing this movement in BTC is a Qatar billionaire stepped up to the plate with some big money.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Well, Good.
I mean, Qatar's even talked about doing what El Salvador did with their sovereign wealth fund. Just convert the whole thing to BTC, but we'll see. A whole lot of money incoming.
Sure will. Sure. All right. So here, right now, on the Bitcoin, this is where the big gave its indication. This is on a daily. So this said Bitcoin said to be daily this year anyway. On a daily, it said to be long back here at the end of January. All right, that's what Bitcoin said from this. It also said to be long way back here, middle of October, and again right here, at the beginning of January there, and again the end of January. So once it's the beginning of January, once it's the end of January, and once the middle of October. We had long indications here. Yeah, not much else throughout the year. This is going all the way back to June, the middle of 2023. So we picked up some pretty good spots here for this. And this is the TV trades tool. All right. Past support members currently get access to that. If you want to know more about it, you can email support at TradingView.com. You can email there. If you want, you can email us at support@cfrn.net if you want. I'll let you know more about it. Right. So here right now, everything is just flat. We just don't have anything worth trading right now. It's 1:14. 16 minutes left with nothing worth trading. Let's look at some of the other things out here. Let's go look at some other things other than Bitcoin. Oops, sorry. I did that on gold. I didn't do that on gold. Let's do that here on this chart. Let's look at Mara.
Silver's having a huge rally today, along with gold.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I went to the jewelry store the other day, and it was on Friday. And the guy made a comment about price of gold. Yeah, I know. It's up $30 today. Silver's up to. Silver. What is it up to? What is silver up to?
Silver currently. Let me refresh my page.
Okay, for anybody that's watching the live stream, if you have not taken a free trial of this and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on this purple button right here. I know we haven't done much trading today, but you get access to all the indicators, and we did plenty of trading this morning, and we do plenty of trading every day. Just right now, this period of time, there is no reason to trade, so we're not going to force anything.
Silver's up over. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
That's okay. I was just going to finish this part. But to take the free trial and get access to indicators, just click on this purple button right here. It says no credit card required for the trial. That is absolutely true. Just go in here, fill out this form. No credit card required. Down here at the bottom, give us your TradingView login ID. Okay. You can click join webinar in progress or join webinar. We'll get you all the information you want. So what was silver up
to? Gold's up 1.5%. Silver's up 2.5%, over 2.5%. 62 cents.
2.5%.
So when the price of silver changes by $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. So being up 62 cents, it's up over $2,500 per contract traded.
Wow, that's a big move in silver.
It is
2%.
Yeah.
What is
2.5.
What is it priced at?
$23.98.
$23.98 is silver right now. Wow.
All-time historic high, $50. Been there twice.
Yeah, that was still
once the Hunt brothers ran it up, and then once it just ran up of its own accord.
That's good stuff. Bet my son doesn't have that silver I bought him for his 10th birthday.
Jamie Dimon inherited a massive short silver position when the government gave him what was left of Lehman Brothers. And so that's why the metals have been suppressed for a very long time. So question among gold bugs, silver bugs has been, how long can he hold that beach ball underwater before he just can't hold it anymore? This may be this could be it, but
We'll see, I guess.
without crystal balls, only time will tell.
You have to be leaps on that, though. I don't know. Anyway, so Mara went up outside this triangle that it was in, but now it's pulled back inside it down to the BBC. So it's had a great point to bounce right here. Mara, right? And Mr. was the other one we're watching, right? Mr. I was running with Bitcoin. Yeah, we were talking about getting all the way up to here at some point, but then it just ran with Bitcoin. There is a direct correlation between this and Bitcoin, isn't there? There's some reason that that Mara is running with Bitcoin, or Mr. is running with Bitcoin. Ah, okay. It's because MicroStrategy just bought $150 million worth of Bitcoin. For those of you guys that are in the live stream listening, they did that last week, right? Good, Daniel. Christian. Oops, I mean to do that. I meant to do this. Yeah, it's like 10%. Interesting stuff. All right. Yeah, and if it does keep going up, then all those numbers are going to be changing dramatically. All right. Well, now we're almost in a position to have a trade here on the futures. So we haven't had a single trade yet this session, so we're almost in a position to have a trade. We're looking for the NQ to pull back up and test the ribbon. We're looking for the Russell to pull back up and test the ribbon. The gold is just going sideways. The ES is just going sideways. But we may have a trade here on either the NQ or the Russell or both. Right, so be ready for that. All right, what time is it? It's 1:21. We only have about 9 minutes left in this session. I'm sorry in the live stream. This morning's live stream got messed up. I couldn't save the recording, and this one here, we just didn't have many trades at all in it. So those of you guys in the live stream, we'll be back tomorrow. Well, I mean, I'm going to finish this one off, but we'll be back probably with more action tomorrow. Those of you watching the live stream after that. I know we have a following of people out there that do watch it after that. All right, so right here, we're hitting a ribbon right now. I'm going to go to a minute and back to the 15 range over here. So it starts printing regularly. Okay, we're hitting a ribbon. We're not overbought. So we're not going to have any kind of an arrow if we get a down close right now. It'd be 90.75 is what we'd be selling on that. What am I looking at? My DOM is not in the right place. Here it is, 90.75. Here it is, 90.75. And I just sold it and it just triggered me in and my stop is going to break even already. All right. That's a valid trade there. We didn't get any kind of an arrow because we're not coming out of the overbought, but it's a valid trade because it's off the ribbon with a, I'll lock in just 1 point, because it's off the ribbon in a downtrend. All right, the black is in the red. And so you can take any bounce off the ribbon if the black is in the red, as long as it's got a lower swing. You come off a lower swing. So we have everything we need here for this trade to work out. And we should get as it goes through the prior swing low right here, we should get all 30 ticks out of this. If we look at the leg lengths, and the leg lengths are in tomorrow's lesson plan, the leg length right here, it's actually in a couple of pieces, but it's this big right here. And so it's a little bit bigger than what this leg length is right now. Let me draw it for you so you can see. Okay. I'll do that for you. It's that big right there. Okay. And that's what I was talking about, a little bit bigger than what that leg length was right there. So there it is, all 30 ticks, and we just finished that leg length. How was that? Precise trading. Now, we didn't get any kind of an arrow here because we didn't come out of the overbought. All right, if we did come out of the overbought right there, we'd have a blue arrow, which is the highest probability trade. But this is about the equivalent of a blue arrow. It's actually even a little bit better because it didn't pull back and lose any momentum on the pullback right here.
You are on 15 contracts now, right?
Much. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. 15 contracts. Yep. Right there, 15. So that was, I'm not even sure. 15 times 5 times. What am I thinking? 30 ticks, right? 30 ticks. $2,250. And it's still going. It exceeded this leg length. So that's good. That means you have a good, strong trend. Right? We're in a good, strong trend. We're having some good leg lengths right here.
Headed for the zone below, it looks like.
It does. It certainly does look like it. So when it pulls back, we'll jump on it again. And let's go and look at, I think we said this earlier when we looked at the bigger picture stuff earlier this morning. On the NQ, yeah, it came back up after it got down below the BBC. It came back up, tested the BBC, and got back down below. And right here, it's definitely headed down to the weekly trading zone. I think it probably won't find support there at the zone. I think it's going to go through the zone. I think we're going to see a wick through the zone, probably down to the midpoint between these zones, and then a bounce off of that is what I'm thinking. That would make sense. Looking at the way the market is right now, if we had somehow had a wick or a move all the way down to here and a bounce off of that would make sense. This little bit of a pullback right here down to the weekly trading zone. It's pretty close, but with this huge move up right here that we had, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think it's going to go a little bit further. We'll see. I mean, we'll see by the end of the week. This is making all the QQQs and everything else that I think are going to be really valuable by the end of the week a lot cheaper right now. QQQs, the SPYs, all those I think are going to be valuable. The calls, I mean, by the end of the week, going to be dirt cheap after today, or right now, for instance. So we'll see at the end of the session. I mean, at the end, well, I don't know. We'll see when I'm done with this session. I'll check out the options. Maybe put something in the option channel, in my opinion. Anyway, it's SMOR7, Sam. Okay, I'll get that.
We're technical traders, guys, but there's a huge fundamental out there that you want to be aware of, and that is the Supreme Court made their ruling today on states' ability to remove Trump from the ballot, and the Supreme Court said no can do.
9-0.
Yeah, it was unanimous. Now, will individual states buck what they say? And I don't recall us ever seeing this type of a scenario before, where states defy a Supreme Court order. But we saw it in Texas, so we'll see what happens. I don't think most states want to get into, and you know, it's easy to be king in a land of one-eyed jacks. Do you want to be that president? No, I don't think so. So anyway. Let's see. Are you still live on your end on the stream?
Yeah, I'm still live. Still live.
All
yeah,
right.
It's 127.
There's a question in the box for you. Mine.
Stream?
Yeah, guys, if you lose your live connection on the live stream, just refresh your browser tab.
Okay, in the box. How much you make today? Well, in the room, in here, we just made 30 ticks on the NQ. One trade that we made made right there. But let me show you. Right. This spreadsheet has our daily results going back every day for over 10 years. It's got our daily results. So this morning in the room, we were up. Today, we were up 84 ticks on the NQ, 3 on the Russell, and 5 on gold. So $485 with one contract this morning in the morning session. Okay, that's what we did this morning. Now, in here, we've only had 30 ticks on the NQ. We've only taken one trade and made 30 ticks on the NQ with 15 contracts. Okay, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com. If you click this button, there's no credit card required for our free trial, Bentley. There's no credit card required for our free trial. Click that purple button, mytradingiq.com. Click that purple button right there. It's going to bring you to this registration page. No credit card required. Just give us your name, email, phone number. Down here at the bottom, give us your TradingView login ID. Right? If you do all that, we'll get your stuff. We'll get your stuff ready to go. All right. We'll get your indicators indicating, and everything will be all set up for you. And all you have to do is apply it to your charts. There's the trade here on the Russell, the blue arrow short right there. Blue arrow short right there on the Russell. Here it is. I just shorted it. Here it is. Now the rules say after 4 ticks in profit, the stop goes to break even. So as soon as it gets right there, I'm going to hit the break even button. Okay, so now we're back at break even, and it should go all the way down to there. Now, is that the swing low? It's right down here. I ended up with a break even, but 3.8. So it should go actually through that. 3.8 is what this should go down to right now. Right, this is where the price should go down to, right here. I don't know whether it's going to. We ended up with a break even on that trade. Gold is just going sideways. Yes, it's just going sideways, and now the NQ is just going sideways too. So that's it. We had 2 trades to break even here and a plus 30 over here on the NQ. Those were our 2 trades so far this session, and I guess that's going to be it because it's time right now to wrap up. All right.
Important to note is that we trade everything exactly the same every day, no matter what it is.
Yes, what Dwayne was just saying, because he can't hear you over there, Bentley. What Dwayne was just saying is we trade everything exactly the same every day. The same way, the same thing every day. It's always the same. We have the same rules. Look, if you go here to mytradingiq.com, click on trade rules. The rules are written out for you right there. Every trade we take follows those rules. The 2 trades that I took in here so far, I took this short trade right here with the slingshot. This is the rule I followed for that one. And this is the risk management. It's a 10-tick range. I mean, it's a 7-tick range, so I had a 10-tick stop that went to break even after 4 ticks in profit. The other trade that we took was a short trade. It was this one right here, this rule. All right, we didn't have the slingshot with that one. It was right back here. It was this one right here. You see, we didn't have the slingshot in favor of the trade. It was in favor of the trade. It just didn't come out of the overbought. But we bounced off the ribbon. The black is in the red. The long-term trend is bearish. The black is in the red. We had a lower swing. It came back up. It touched the ribbon with the black and the red. All right. If you go here and follow the rule, it says black line in the ribbon must be on top and in the red. Price must touch the ribbon on the pullback. It did that. Also has to have this. All trades come after a higher or lower swing. It came after a lower swing. They must be in long-term trend direction. It was bearish. So that one, because it was on a 15-tick range, had a 20-tick stop that went to break even after 8 ticks in profit. And then I had a 30-tick profit target on it, and it joined us. Sorry, I was reading what you just said when you joined us. and it ran to 30 ticks in profit. But it hit my target. That's it. All right. So yeah, what Dwayne was just saying, if you want to get, I'll just go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. It's going to bring you to this simple registration page. Just fill it out. Gives you TradingView login ID right there. When I put your indicator set for you. All right.
Scroll down on that page and show the afternoon broadcast, please.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. You should. I'm talking to Dwayne right now, so you're only hearing half of this conversation. All of you guys that are watching in the live stream. On TradingView, if you want to get both sides of this conversation, it actually begins at noon. It doesn't begin at 12 or at 1. this live stream begins at 1, but this conversation began at noon. You just scroll down, go to mytradingiq.com, go to the middle of the page right here, the noon session. Now, you should all try to attend this. This is free all the time. It's been free for 10 years.
Everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device.
Yep. You can sign up for this and see this every day, right? Every business day. Just click here and you get the link to that. And you'll be sent a reminder every day until you cancel. All right. This is free. So you'll be able to hear both sides of this conversation that I'm having right now. All right. Yeah, you should definitely do that too. All right. Just go to mytradingq.com. Sign up for everything. Just click here. It's really pretty simple. There's only that one and this one down here. If you sign up for those two things, then you get it set up with your indicators. This one here is the same one at the top. You get set up with your indicators. You get set up with the room in the morning. Set up with everything. All right. That is it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I am. Recap of the morning session.
Okay, the recap of the recap. Today it took 12 minutes and 1 trade to get to $1,500 when we got our goal this morning.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we left off on the Russell. And what's the Russell doing now? Well, right here is the London Open. Right here. We were above the VBC, step line, blue and climbing, VBC. I just call that perfect stack. And price went higher as we would expect. And it took out Friday's high, and we've taken out Thursday's high. Today's high, $20.96.80. Now, we've come back to the zone. And what happens at the zone 70% of the time? This consolidation. Now, if price continues down, wait for it to take out this low, trade it down to the bullish cross. Should be ample to give you your goal for the day, and then some. Okay. As far as the upside goes, well, there's an obstacle here, here, here. You could trade 2092 to 2094. That would give you your goal for the day on the upside. But for now, you don't want to do anything. Remember, price is always trying to do one of two things: break the previous swing high or the previous swing low. And it's always going to do one of those two things eventually. Gotta have patience, gotta have self-discipline. On the NQ, here's where we opened last night. Flattened sideways, got below the BBC, pullback held, so we got a little leg down, the pullback held, another leg down, the pullback held, and we've just come off another leg down, okay, where we put in a slightly lower low. Got potential support right here, 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 and of course at the zone. Now, like I said earlier, these are last week's zones. The new zones went out to our members this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. But all alerts that go out Sunday night are based on the previous week's zones. On tomorrow's afternoon broadcast, the zones you see on my chart will be this week's zones, the ones our members and trial members got at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Here's crude. Here's where we opened last night. We dropped to the VBC. We got a little pop, enough to get your goal for the day. And a pull back to the VBC, and another pop, which barely took out that previous swing high. And when you take out a previous swing high or swing low by just a little bit, I mean, you can see that's just a little bit. That's a sign of weakness if it's a previous swing high. Nowhere near swing high from Friday, okay? And so the sign of weakness that we saw here led to price getting below the BBC and dropping to the target. This candle opened at 79.63 and dropped to 79.35. It's about $300 per contract traded down to the target. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. We get above the BBC. Now remember, this high took out the previous swing high by just a little bit, sign of weakness. This swing high failed to take out the previous swing high at all, or even double top it. Again, a sign of weakness. So what happens? Price gets below the BBC, drops to the target, continues to the zone. There's a little consolidation. If price takes out this swing low right here, you see this swing low is the bullish cross. That's why price is holding up there for a minute. I said it earlier, when you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support. So we got to break through this area. Then you've got another area of support right here. Then down to the zone. Of course, members and trial members already have this week's zones. Gold, we opened here. We never got below the BBC. Remember, when you're above the BBC, the green line, bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish. Anticipate higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish. Anticipate lower prices. That's way back last Thursday. So we come down to the BBC, catch a little bounce, which takes us right up to Friday's high. See that? See the horizontal line on the cursor? My mouse, my arrow is pointing right at Friday's high, and that's this high. You should be expecting resistance there. Now an entry here, 2092, took you up to 2097. It's $500 per contract traded. Again, we pull back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not, whether it's pulling from above or from below. This pullback sent us right up to the target, to and through the zone. Now the step line, that's the blank line, it's starting to cross. You see how on the way up, step line was on the left side of blue and climbing. But now the step line has crossed to the right side of blue and climbing. So what's the next logical thing for price to do? To retrace back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. And when that step line crosses, that's your heads up. Okay? It's happening right here. As it makes its way down, you'll see blue and climbing, hook over, turn to red and falling. Okay? Now that would be what we call a counter trend trade. We use the 30-minute chart as a roadmap. When price is above the BBC, I'm only looking for long trades on the smaller time frame. When price is below the BBC on the 30-minute chart, I'm only looking for short trades on the smaller time frame trigger chart. Okay? Expect price to come back to this important area. This was a zone last week. It's also a zone again this week. We had 13 zones this week that are identical to last week's zones, which is why, despite the fact that we have a lot of news this week, concerned that we're going to see another week of this sideways grind. But we're not seeing the sideways grind in gold and silver. In fact, silver, we are in the K contract now. Here's where we opened last night. Price was trapped between support here, resistance here. We got to the zone, consolidated, got below the BBC, but we never really let go of it. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. So we got a leg, a retracement, a leg, a retracement. Pullback holds more often than not. We hit the target, 23.58, and then we continued all the way up to the zone at 23.98. And what's been happening for the last 2.5 hours? Consolidation. That's what happens 70% of the time when price encounters a weekly zone. All markets, time frames. And last but not least, the euro. Euro got a slightly higher gap open, closed the gap here. We made our run up to the long target. When the market finds resistance at the zone, it will go look for support, which it found at the zone. Now, all of these zones that you've seen on my charts today were published last Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So what you're seeing is carryover power. Okay, the zones will carry over into the new week, and then the new weekly zones will begin to take effect Monday into Tuesday. But there's always at least one or two zones that carry over from week to week. But since December 14th of 2009, I can't remember a week where there were 13 zones that carried over to the new week. It could be a first. So we caught another leg, pull back to the BBC held, and we touched the zone. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance. Pretty simple. So then we go back to the zone again, and then we come back to the zone again. And then we go, so we made 1, 2, 3 zone to zone moves. Well, actually 6 because it had to come back. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what's price doing? The step line has crossed blue and climbing, so we're pulling back to the BBC. We expect it to hold until proven otherwise. Held here, held here. Yes, we spiked it, but all the candles are still touching it. That's a hold, okay? Now, as price pulls back, we expect it to hold until proven otherwise. What would that look like? Price getting below this zone, below this swing low right here. But you don't have a whole lot of room before you're confronted with another zone, which is support. Okay? A little bigger playing field down here. Back to the daily. We are still, see, 49.25 on Friday. 47.25 today, so it's still an inside day at this moment. We've not taken out Friday's high or Friday's low. How we close today, as every day, is important. Once we see price get below the step line in blue and climbing on the daily chart, we should have a fast move to the BBC. Now, we crossed the BBC back here November 2nd. Pull back on January 4th held, pull back on January 17th held, pull back on January 31st held, February 13th held, February 20th held. Okay, now about due for another pullback. Eventually, price will trade through the BBC. The last time price traded through the BBC was back here, November 2nd. It traded through it, closed above it, and then the following day we had a candle open and close above the BBC. That set the stage for a multi-month rally right up until today. In an uptrend, there will still be retracements, there will still be pullbacks. Okay. Below the BBC, think short. Above, think long. To become a member and enjoy all the benefits that our members enjoy, go to mytradingiq.com. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have someone to teach them how to do the job. That's important. No matter what career path you choose, baker, banker, candlestick maker, you need somebody to show you how, right? 9 out of 10 new traders go it alone. Now you might argue, well, no, I bought indicators, I bought oscillators. In fact, I bought more than I could ever use. And I bought video training courses, and I had a guru, and he used to come in grumpy every day and shout out stuff that nobody understood, and then he would applaud himself and exit the room. Yeah, that's not having a teacher. A teacher is someone who teaches you every day. When you're a kid growing up going to school, what'd you do every day? You went to school. So you go to class. You see, our intention is to help you become self-sufficient. Once you become self-sufficient, we want you to stick around, be a part of our very vibrant community. Lots of great discussion goes on in our discussion group. You can be a part of that. You just have to become a member. mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. Passport is your all-access pass. Everything we do, everything we've ever done. Used to be everything we do in the future, but as you all know, that chapter closed last night at midnight. One-on-one mentoring, a strategy, and an indicator set that is fluid across all markets, all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. mytradingiq.com. On to our good word for the day. Friday, we started a new topic, being friends with God. Here's part 2. Exodus 33:13. If you are pleased with me, teach me your ways so I may know you. Listen to more of Moses' friendly talk with God. Remember, we talked about that Friday. Moses having a conversation with God. Moses said, if you're pleased with me, teach me your ways so I may know you and continue to find favor with you. Moses is in a national crisis that could end Israel's relationship with God. And what is he praying for? Well, it's not, hey God, I'm in a tough spot. You got to fix this. Instead, he says, teach me your ways so I may know you. Moses wants more than just to know God's awesome works. His heart cries out to know God's heart and what makes it tick, the inner ways of God. To know him includes all the other things Moses could ever seek, including the solution to his problem. And God gave him what he asked. In Psalm 103, verse 7, he made known his ways unto Moses. Here's more of that conversation. Verse 14. The Lord replied, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. That you in the Hebrew is singular. God promised to accompany Moses and give rest to him. Anybody else would have accepted gladly. Not Moses. His prayer was bigger than his own concerns. Exodus 33:15, the next verse. If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. In other words, Lord, it's not for me I'm praying, it's for us. And God answered that prayer. Are your prayers bigger than yourself and your own needs? Well, the Bible says, for God so loved the world, in John 3:16. Do you pray for your town, nation, and the world? Been called to do so, and you should, no matter who's in office. That's a good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.